Hello, this is going to be my project 1 for this 338. First, we're going to hit use of coroutines, right, and probably delegate at the same time because my setup. So, where over here, down here, we have these two different IE enumerators, right? One's for playing sound on enemy death, the other's for playing player sound when they die, right? We're gonna grab the audio component and then we're gonna play a one shot, right? But we're using a coroutine because we want to wait for seconds, right? And we're gonna wait for the grunt length so that the game object doesn't just die and get destroyed before we ever get to finish the audio's full length, right? So that's why this is like this. So that is where we're using that. Also, there are other cases where we're using coroutines, like for the player respawn, right? But for right now, since this is my example, that's what I'm going to focus on. So for delegates, I'm going to show you them all once I cover them in code, but first let me run through this. Go back up. Okay, so we made a public delegate of return type void spawn, right? And then we made that as a lowercase spawn. And basically it holds, or it's going to hold, the enemy spawn and the player spawn, right? And we're doing that right here. First, we load references, and if we're in the world scene, which is the build index 1, we're going to then add player spawn and enemy spawn to that delegate and then call it, right? So this is the case where we know we're going to use both of them, so we might as well just throw them into one delegate since they're called at the same time anyway, and load them up like that. Don't mind me, I'm just making them all level. All right. But we're going to load these references, right, because we need the UI manager and the spawn list before we ever use any of these. But we're going to do that for delegates. And also we're multicasting over here because usually you can just, if you want a single use delegate, then you can just use the normal equals and not plus equals, but we put two functions into this one delegate, which is multicasting. Alright, use of lambda expression. We're gonna go to our camera, right? So over here, basically we can use the lambda expression, which is right over here, to create this function on the fly and pass in this parameter offset right over here, right? So we created this delegate, again, use of delegates, cam follow vector3 offset, right? And then create a local version of that. And in start, we can give it this functionality, right? And then call it an update so that it can follow our player. We're going to show that right after. Use of generics templating. So in my case, it wouldn't be optimal if I did, but this is just an example of where I could use it, right? So we didn't specify the type over here, just EVP, right? And we could use that for these because all of these use 3 parameter types, but also there are many cases where that wouldn't be optimal in other scripts, so I decided not to include that in my project because I like the way my project runs, but we could use it if we wanted to. So actually change that, but I don't think it's optimal in this case. So use of multi-threading. Okay. Let me go back. So in this case, we're going to use a very simple example of it. C thread, right, which is up over here. it's going to be a new thread of calculate health, and that just gets the percent of health that the player has, or whoever uses this has, and sets it to the right color based on, you know, their range. And we're going to basically set this thread to that calculate health, and if the C thread is not equal to the current thread, then we can start, right? Because if not, we don't want to like make multiple threads, because that's not safe. Okay, so okay, let me demo this right over here once this updates. Okay, so I gotta kill some enemies so you can hear that that sound. Hopefully you have my system audio. Wait a second. I do not hear any audio. Did I put this? I think I muted. Yep, I muted this. Of course. Alright. Take 2. Let me put this down because it's probably really loud. Yeah, okay. Look at him. But it's that all sound. Yep. Okay. So that's our sound, right? And then use of delegates, multicasting. It already happened because, you know, we had to spawn in the enemies, and we did. The use of lambda expression, that's through the camera follow. And for the multi-threading, right? It wouldn't keep this color, right? Because I used to be doing this, I was doing this differently before in 340, but it wouldn't keep that same color and update it if the thread didn't run. Yeah, but it is. It's cycling through green, yellow, and red, respectively. Okay, thank you for watching.